The Himalaya, the highest and biggest and youngest mountain range in the world. Men and women have been pulled towards them to try and conquer their massive peaks and explore the intricate tapestry of their hidden valleys. Over the centuries, others have come here to dive inwards into themselves, to move away from the bustle of the marketplace, and to dissolve into the immense silence that can be found here. In the early 1990s, the Indian government opened up a unique road in the Western Himalaya. It spans 5 of the highest mountain passes on Earth and crosses some of the most deserted, rugged and beautiful landscape on this planet. This road, where no road should rightly be, links the town of Manali in the state of Himachal Pradesh to the remote regions of Spiti, Lahaul and Ladakh. Here, more than anywhere else in the world, the ancient religion of Tibetan Buddhism still flourishes. Hidden in this isolated mountain desert, scores of gompas or monasteries continue to provide a space for people to practice the art of meditation. A few years ago, 2 old friends, Ash and Dipesh, decided to organize a motorcycle tour on this mountain road, one of the last great motorcycle rides in the world. It was to take them and their friends on a tremendous journey of adventure, beauty, and mystery. An early July morning in the Kulu Valley. Situated about 550 kilometers to the northwest of Delhi and surrounded by peaks of over 6,000 meters, the valley ends at the town of Manali, the gateway to the more remote regions of Spiti and Ladakh. The villagers are waking up and taking their produce to market. In a small village just outside Manali, it's the first day of our motorbike ride into the mountains. We've all recently arrived from Europe, America and Australia. It has been good to have a few days to acclimatize our bodies to the 2,000-meter height of Manali. But now it's time to pack the bikes and start our adventure.
I wanted to do these trips even before I ever came here. I always thought, wow man, it would be so good to make a motorbike rides there without even being here. And then with Asha was talking about it, and he had been here before and he had the same idea. That was about, what, 4 years ago?
I totally fell in love with riding bikes again, which I hadn't done since I was a kid. And I fell in love with the mountains and I just wanted to share it.
All the bikes that we will be riding are made by Royal Enfield in India. Based on an old English BSA design from the 1930s, the 500cc Enfield is the most powerful bike on the Indian roads. The design of the actual bike has not altered that much over the 70-odd years that they have been in production, making it a truly classic bike with a definite temperament.
Well, I always avoided Enfields as much as I could until I was forced to rent one to come up here, and then I realized this is the element for an Enfield. This is the place where they really excel, because they low revving, you're able to go slow, see everything, and they just keep going. So yeah, I've fallen in love with Enfields as well after a long time of avoiding them.
Well, I have a deep love for Enfields. Enfield is just a very special love affair. It comes into a hate and love connection, and it's, yeah, you have to experience it.
Whoops.
To know what I'm talking about.
It got quite intense as we started going up, because the Rohtang Pass, it seemed to me, it went into this really pleasant stage about halfway up where we were going through this forest, and the road was relatively flat for a while and pretty nice condition, and I thought, hey, this is magic. You know, it was really a magic bike ride. Then we kind of got to the top third of the Rotang Pass and got really steep and nasty, and these rocks were coming down from the side and these trucks were coming at you. I had to start dealing with this threat of the drop on the left-hand side, which was something that I've been fearing for quite some time, because we've got this sort of vertigo thing.
I love riding Enfields. I just love the feel of them, I love the sound of them. I think it's also because it's India, so I'm always riding them in India. But I just really like the bikes. I like how they feel. I like when you sit on them, I like the doof, 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 doof.
I had to let go. I had to trust, and combined with the elements that we were in, transformed to this amazing exhilaration.
Fantastic, huh?
Start feeling a little bit of hardness, you know, toughness to get air now. I can notice it. I've never been so high in my life. Natural high, I mean.
We've reached the top of Rotang Pass, the first and the smallest of the 6 mountain passes that we will have to cross. The top of every pass is always decorated with hundreds of prayer flags. The Tibetan Buddhists believe that the wind blows the flags and releases the prayers printed on them, bringing protection and good luck for all travelers.
The landscape up here, I really love it. I just feel very at home here. I feel at home with the mountains, with the sky, with the people.
Although our final destination is the town of Leh in Ladakh, we are first making a side trip into Spiti Valley. We drop down from Rotang Pass into Lahore Valley and start following the Chandra River. We're in the shadow of the huge peaks of the Great Himalayan range, and this part of the valley is totally cut off in winter because of heavy snowfall. Even in summertime, it has a wild and desolate beauty. We cross the bridge over the Chandra at a small collection of temporary tents called Batal and start the climb up Kunzum La. La means pass in Tibetan, and Kunzum stands at just over 4,500 meters above sea level, surrounded by some magnificent peaks where several mountain climbers have lost their lives in the last decade. Spiti is one of the wildest and most deserted places that we will have a chance to visit. Cut off from the outside world for most of the winter months, it used to be part of the kingdom of Guge in western Tibet. Our destination is the main town of the valley, Kaza, which will be our base in the coming days.
For me, this is just the perfect combination of like 3 elements. It's like the beauty and the vastness of the mountains, of the landscape. It's the height, which kind of makes you a little different, you function different. And then the living together with the Tibetan culture and the Tibetan people, or the Ladakhi people. It's just a fantastic combination, and it just sweeps you away.
Our first trip in Spiti will take us to the highest gompa or monastery in the world. In order to get there, we have to climb over 1,100 meters out of the main valley, and you really start to feel as if you're on top of the world. The landscape is so vast and remote that it is hard to imagine how human beings can live in such an inaccessible place and survive the harsh winters that happen here. The size of the nature that surrounds us gives us all an immediate and undeniable experience of how small and insignificant we are as human beings. Our first view of the Gompa immediately shows how isolated it is. It lies starkly alone at 4,600 meters above sea level and is called comic. It is our first experience of how far away from the modern world a Tibetan monk lives, and we will encounter this same remoteness in other Gompas that we visit. You enter into a different world that is dedicated to meditation and introspection. By chance, the monks are conducting a puja or ritual prayer meeting when we arrive, and we decide to join them.
Gompas that got me, and they were doing the music, the puja, for like 3 or 4 hours in the morning, and it was just very easy to sit. And for me, the drums, like everything resonated. The drums were like boom, boom, and just resonate. The cymbals, it kind of keeps you awake. The effect was, it was just really nice to sit, and I would sit for hours and just really enjoy, which is rare. Yeah, it was just really good to sit there, and I got in quite quiet spaces sometimes, but very easily. Just somehow the music took me.
After the puja is finished, the monks kindly invited us to share a tea and a simple meal prepared by them.
Take one up. Cheers. Okay, see what's happening.
At 4,600 meters, even the simplest food takes on a completely different quality.
It's good.
The next few days are spent visiting several other of the main Gompas in Spiti Valley. Many of them have been built in commanding and spectacular locations, with an architecture that often seems to defy the laws of gravity, but always blends so harmoniously into its surroundings. The buildings fall down the sides of mountains and cling precariously to rock and cliff, hovering above the small agricultural communities that support them. And always they contain an amazing and sometimes scary display of ritual art.